It's day 21 of the Bible recap, and we are diving into Genesis 27 through 29. The plot thickens, it gets even more messy. Genesis is very messy, friends. So let's talk about how Jacob and Rebekah are going to trick Isaac into giving his blessing for Esau to Jacob. We need to backtrack to when they were born or before they were born, when God said the younger would rule the older. So the thing is that Jacob is planning on giving Esau the blessing, even though he's the older child, and he knows that God's will is the younger child to rule over the older child. I never thought about it that way, okay? Because all I could think about was, man, this is the Bible. All these tricks. Again, I've got to get out of me, right? Out of what I think and what I believe and all the things inside of me, and I have to be looking at the overall message that this passage and these chapters are trying to give me. So, blessings and inheritance are two different things. Blessings are more spiritual than financial, and there's no takesies backsies, okay? So, Jacob gets the blessing, and when Esau comes in, he's like, you have no blessing left for me, Father. There's nothing left for me. And so all of this is just really, really interesting. And Jacob, though, is not innocent, because let's think about how Jacob tried to trick him into giving him his birthright over a plate of food. But then you got to think about Esau's responsibility in that. He just gave it up like it was no big deal. So nobody is completely innocent in all of this, okay? So do not be feeling sorry for Esau. He sold his birthright for a bowl of stew, okay? He never understood all the gravity that came with being the older and doing all the things. So Jacob has been given the blessing by Isaac, and now Esau is mad. And I mean, they went to very long lengths, okay? I'm not going to rehash all the things, but you're dressing up, you're even, you sound like your brother. Okay, so they just went far-fetched, right? And it's all just super wild. So Jacob is going to leave. Esau threatens to kill him and Rebekah, and so Jacob leaves, and he is told that he needs to marry someone within the believer family, that follows Yahweh, not a Canaanite, someone in God's family. And we know that Esau does not. Esau marries two Hittite women. And so he does not marry women that follow Yahweh. That's important to know too. Then Jacob has this latter dream. He has this dream about God coming to earth. And there's two promises that God makes to him. And it is that the enemy land is going to be his families, and that he is going to use their family to bless all the families of earth. He promises kids, even though he's not even married yet. Okay, and so God blesses him amongst all of this. And again, God is picking the latter, picking the younger over the older. And then we see that he builds a pillar for God and says, if God keeps his promises, then I will yield. So we can still see here that Jacob is not a full believer. Okay, he even says Isaac's God's, God's my father. So this is a very pagan thing to build this pillar, not very typical of Yahweh's followers. Okay, good to know. All right, he goes to Haran to a well. A well is where you meet all the ladies. That's where the ladies go. They go to draw water. So if you want to meet a girl, you're going to go to the well. So they go to the well, and he's going to see a shepherdess. I've never seen this word before, shepherdess. Okay, and that's Rachel. And it's his first cousin. It's his mom's brother's kid. And he falls madly in love. And so he's like, this is perfect. She's kin to my people. She follows Yahweh. I think she's beautiful. She's going to be my wife. So we're going to see Laban is introduced into the story. And this is his uncle. So this is Rebekah's brother. This is a whole nother twisted plot. Okay. So that was a twisted plot, a thick, twisted, messy plot. And now we're going to get into another thick, twisted, messy plot. Do you see a theme here? Okay, it starts with Sarah and Abraham, messy. Then it goes down to Isaac and Rebekah, messy. Now we're going to get ready to see Jacob and Rachel, messy. Okay, so he wants to marry Rachel, and so he promises to work as a servant for 7 years in order to kind of win her hand in marriage. And so the night that he is supposed to consummate the marriage, the dad, Laban, tricks him. Laban puts her older sister Leah in the marriage bed, and there's no electricity at this point, so I guess you can't tell. Okay, so he ends up consummating a marriage to the older sister Leah, okay? And then Laban's like, no, this is not how we do it. Like, if you want one, it's a twofer. Like, we can't be marrying baby girl off before we marry her older sister off. Like, we can't be having that. And again, no takesies backsies. 2 times in this reading, no takesies backsies. You're going to lose that blessing, and then you're going to be tricked. So, like, Jacob was a trickster, and then look, he got tricked. Think about that, okay? And so now he has to work another 7 years for Rachel. Okay? Jacob becomes like a mortal enemy with Leah. The book says hates, and then it says in the Bible it translates to a word that kind of means your mortal enemy. Can you imagine? Like, I can't imagine, like, these are real people. These are human beings, right? Like, we read books and we read things, and you know, we can very much put things distantly, but I have always had a hard time with that because I just feel so deeply and I feel for other people. And so, like, it just really bothers me to think about all the emotions that are going on in all of this. I can't. So the thing is that God has an affinity for the unloved and the overlooked. And he is going to be generous and attentive to Leah, because Leah is in this position now. She's married to this man who really is in love with her sister. And now she's like stuck in this like tangled love web. And like, she just wants somebody to love her. Don't we all? So she ends up giving this man 4 sons, okay? The first 3 focus on getting Jacob to love her through their names, and then that last one came in and proved that she only needed God. And I meant to list the names here, and I didn't, so I'm going to have to go back and look at these names because just for myself, the last one proved that she only needed God, okay? And so our God shot today is all about how we have seen God's sovereignty over the enemy, right? Now we see God's sovereignty over the sins of man. Even through all these tricks, even through all these schemes, even through all this manipulation and all this messiness, God's plan is still at work. Even if it isn't good, he will use it for his glory. Even if you think that you have a train wreck of a life, that you are a train wreck of a person, he can still work it out for your good. And that's where I ended. And that's a good one. Because let me tell you, just like Tara Lee says, he is where the joy is. And I know that this stuff is messy. It is like soap operas on HBO steroids with some of this stuff. But again, if you pull your personal feelings out and your personal, you know, and you really look at this overarching message, you'll see the goodness of God. And I love that this book and the podcast and the YouVersion Bible app, all of the Bible recap is really just all about that God shot. It's so important to look for that, because if I was reading this on my own, y'all, I wouldn't get half of this stuff. And please fact check me if you know something different, or if you have a totally different POV on some of this stuff. Please let me know. I absolutely love it because I love to learn, and that's how we learn together. So please provide me any feedback, and I love the conversations that I'm having with you guys. I've gotten a lot of followers, so I haven't been able to follow everybody back. But if you are on here and you're engaging with me and we're talking, I'm definitely following you back because I want to make friends over this.